Okay, Stoney, the other day you asked me a question about how I hit those little short sand wedge shots of anywhere from say 10 to 30 yards, that you struggle a little bit with that. And so I just want to tell you how I do it, and I kind of base my methodology on a guy who teaches a lot of short game stuff on the PGA Tour named John Seekman. And so he basically categorizes wedge shots in two different ways. You've got your distance wedge and you've got a finesse wedge. The distance wedge is, let's say you've got 70, 80, 90, 100 yards. It's in a sense just a mini golf swing. There might be some other little variations, but for the most part, it's not that different from a golf swing. You've got forward shaft lean and you're using a leading edge and you're trying to hit a lot of spin on the shot. He says when you get into the shorter shot, say inside 40 yards, and for most people it's 10 to 30 in that range, he classifies that as a finesse wedge, and there's several different things you have to do in order to hit the shot effectively. The number one difference is that in a finesse wedge shot, shorter shot, you're using the trailing edge of the wedge rather than the leading edge. So whereas on 80 yards, I'm going to have forward shaft lean and the leading edge of the club is going to come in first. I'm going to make a divot. On a short shot of 10 to 30 yards, it's more of a trailing edge where the club head ends up passing the handle, and you're exposing the bounce of the club, and you really don't take a divot. That's one big difference. The other main thing to consider is that in most golf shots, you're trying to provide power. So you're setting up for power, and you're making a golf swing where you shift weight into your trail leg for power. And people tend to get power, and the more of a power shot it is, like a driver, the more the spine angle increases on the downswing to where you're behind the ball at impact, and that helps produce power. This shot, you want to do everything you can to take away power. So you're actually not going to end up behind the ball at impact. If anything, if you look at the best guys on tour when it comes to this type of shot, their head actually moves target side on the backswing. So instead of getting behind it, the head moves a little bit. If you really watch them close, it'll move a little bit towards the target, and then it won't revert like a reverse pivot, but it'll go towards the target and then rotate through. And that helps to reduce power, not increase power. Also things like you would set up open, but not just with your feet. By setting up your shoulder line a little bit open and your hips and your shoulders, everything, it restricts your backswing, okay? And it helps you, of course, turn through the shot a little better. But again, that's something that minimizes power, which is what you want on this shot, to minimize power as much as possible. Some people would even advocate take your trail hand for your right hand grip and even put it a little bit more on top of the golf club, and that's going to help you to keep the club face a little, from closing, and also limit power. So in a nutshell, it would look something like this. And finally, I like to put, for practice, a towel under both arms, and the reason for that is whenever you start to get separation of the arms, when you start to get lift, that's something that you would do for power. So you look at someone like Bubba Watson, who has a tremendous amount of lift in his golf swing. By getting that separation, it's a powerful move. Here you don't need that. You just want a connected golf swing where your turning of your torso is what helps to generate speed. So basically, I'm going to set up for very little power, meaning I'm going to have the golf ball a little bit forward of my stance. My stance is going to be open, and that includes doing this and taking the center of my chest and pointing it in front of the golf ball. That's a less powerful move. It's going to promote just a short, delicate shot. So that my center is going to get rotated in front of the ball, and I'm going to make sure I focus on letting the head pass the handle rather than forward shaft. Okay, so set up a little weaker grip on top, and then I'm just going to rotate back and through. I have my head move slightly target side on the backswing, and my weight is going to stay here throughout the whole swing. And that ball traveled, I don't know, about 40 feet in the air, and it's going to sit down pretty soft. So I hope that helps, buddy. Talk to you later.